So, what if I told you that one of the most ambitious, secretive, and just wildly expensive construction projects in modern history was happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Well, let's go inside and take a look at the building of a brand new, impossible White House ballroom. And that quote? That's your starting point. You see, before you can build something this new, you have to tear down the old. In just 4 days, crews leveled the entire East Wing. And what's coming up out of that rubble? Well, it's one part palace, one part fortress. And that brings us to the price tag, $300 million. This isn't just some new room. Now, this is a statement of power, a marvel of engineering, at a level of opulence the White House has frankly never seen before. So how in the world do you even begin to wrap your head around a project this massive? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 key stages. We'll start deep underground with that impossible foundation, then we'll uncover its secret defenses. From there, we'll watch a skeleton of steel rise up, see it get draped in golden crystal, and finally explore how the whole thing is engineered to create a perfect, unforgettable experience. Okay, everything, and I mean everything, starts underground. The foundation alone faced challenges that would make most engineers just pack up and go home. To pull this off, you have to picture this: a convoy of concrete trucks stretching for miles through Washington, D.C. For 18 straight hours, they pour. And here's the kicker. This pour cannot stop. Not for a red light, not for a flat tire, not for anything. And the reason for that is absolutely critical. It's all to prevent this little thing called a cold joint. You see, if one layer of concrete starts to harden even a little bit before the next one is poured on top, you create a tiny, invisible fault line. It's a hidden weakness that could, theoretically, crack the entire structure under the weight of a few thousand guests. So the whole pour has to become one single solid piece of rock. And just look at the steel holding that concrete together. We're talking about rebar, that's reinforcement bar, as thick as your wrist, woven into a basket so tight you could literally walk across it. In a typical building, you might see rebar every few feet. Here, it's every 6 inches. It's basically a web of solid steel. But here's where it gets really nerve-wracking. All of this incredible new weight has to be surgically attached to the original stone foundations of the White House. Rocks that have been sitting there since 1792. If you make one wrong move, create one hairline crack, you could damage the entire historic building, all on live television. The margin for error? Absolutely zero. All right, with that insane foundation set, we can move on to the building's secret identity. Because this is not just a place for fancy parties. Underneath all that, it's a hardened command center, built for the worst day imaginable. Every single piece of infrastructure here does 2 jobs. The communication lines, they're hardened to survive an electromagnetic pulse. The pipes have valves that automatically slam shut if they detect a chemical attack. The electrical grid has more backup systems than Air Force One. And the concrete itself is mixed with steel fibers, turning the whole foundation into a blast-resistant bunker. And this just shows you what a logistical nightmare the whole thing was. That special blast-resistant concrete is so sensitive that it has to be kept within a tiny 4-degree temperature window, the whole way from the plant, through DC traffic, to the site. If it gets too hot, it cracks. Too cold, it won't set right. It's an absolute tightrope walk. Okay, let's climb out of the basement and into the open air. Because now a colossal skeleton of steel starts to rise from the ground, all of it engineered to create what the designers call the palace effect. And to give you a sense of scale here, just look at this. This project uses enough steel to build the Statue of Liberty 12 times. It is a staggering amount of material, and it's all designed to make you feel completely awestruck the moment you walk inside. So, why all that steel? To do this: create a gigantic, wide-open ballroom. We're talking a 200-foot span with not a single column in the way. To pull that off, you need steel trusses so enormous, so massive, they can only be moved in the middle of the night with police escorts clearing a path for them across 3 states. And that skeleton supports 3 very different floors. On the main floor, you've got the grand ballroom and a kitchen with walk-in freezers bigger than most New York City apartments. The second floor? That's the president's private viewing gallery, basically a skybox protected by bulletproof glass. And the third floor is all business, a mechanical space packed with air handlers the size of city buses for what is essentially indoor weather manipulation. So once the steel giant is standing, the project completely transforms. Now it's time to dress this thing in finishes so luxurious, they almost seem made up. And the luxury here is all about the story behind the materials. The floors aren't just marble, they're heated Calicut gold marble from the same quarry Michelangelo used. The ceilings are lined with 23-karat gold leaf painstakingly applied by hand. And that 12,000-pound chandelier, it's got 50,000 hand-cut crystals from a workshop in the Czech Republic that's been in business since Mozart was alive. This isn't just building, it's curating. But all of this, the steel, the foundation, the gold, it all serves one final purpose: controlling a guest's experience from the second they arrive. This last part is all about architectural psychology. A guest's journey is choreographed down to the inch. You arrive under a massive covered entrance, then you're guided into what's called a compression chamber, a room with a deliberately low, almost intimate ceiling. As you walk forward, the ceiling starts to rise, building a sense of anticipation. And then the final doors open, and the room just explodes upward to a 35-foot ceiling. It's a classic design trick. You squeeze people first, and then you completely blow their minds with the reveal. And underneath all that luxury is a hidden layer of unbelievable technology. Those beautiful silk walls, they're not just for looks. They create acoustic bubbles so you can have a private conversation in a crowded room. The floor has pressure sensors that track the location of every single person. There are cameras smaller than a quarter hidden in the gold leaf molding. It's this seamless blend of total opulence and absolute control, right down to the gold-plated fixtures in the bathrooms. So, after all that, what is this building? Is it a modern marvel of American engineering designed to project power and host the world with security and style that's second to none? Or is it just a palace of pure, staggering excess, a monument to a singular, expensive vision? Well, that's the $300 million question, isn't it?